Yeah. This is the very last tournament in the Slamus, the Caymas. This is my last event. Kind of knew it might have been at the time, didn't really know it. So here we are, we're breaking down the Minnesota Bass Nation TOC Tournament Champions 2025 out of Winona, Minnesota. We launch out of pool 6. We can fish pools 5A, 6, and 7. Practice was a little bit weird for this one. I got 1 day of pre-practice, like 10 days before the tournament, before the off limits. And then I got 1 day of practice on Sunday before the tournament. Most of my practice was taken out by fishing the Champs Tour event on Lahamadou. Which was good. Cashed $2,000 check, made the tournament champions, requalified, all kinds of great stuff. But it really limited the effort I could put into this event. And this is a giant, sprawling 3 pools of water with infinite number of backwater. Really hard to break down on a short practice. And the thing is, the water wasn't super high. It was kind of normalish, maybe a little low. So like, if you don't really know the backwaters, just ripping around is pretty dangerous. And so to make adjustments during the tournament that weren't main river related really could be difficult. You can't just pull up and go try some stuff and rip in and out and be super efficient. That being said, I still wanted to fish this tournament. I still wanted to give myself a chance because I want to win a Minnesota Bass Nation state tournament. I've got several seconds, a bunch of top 5s. I made a bunch of regional tournaments and made my way to the nationals now 5 times. And this is the path to get to the Bassmaster Classic, and that is also a goal of mine. The top 5 this year are going direct to next year's Bass Nation National Championship, to be determined where that will be. And so that's the goal, to win or get top 5. Format for this tournament, anywhere from 70 to 100 boats typically show up for this tournament. 2 days, full field fish this event. Cumulative weight, it's a kind of a pro-am style. You get a boater, co-angler type situation, different angler drawn each day. Top 25 make the 3rd day to shoot out for that top 5 spot. Last year it was top 6. Last year I made an epic comeback.
You got a cool one right there too.
And our next angler up, one of our veterans, Rich Lindgren from Twin City Bass, has 5 fish. Looks like he's got a big bag today. Whoa, man, whoa!
From 19th to 6th place with the biggest bag at tournament, over almost 21 pounds of smallmouth up on Vermilion, to shoot into that 6th spot and put myself into the national championship right around the corner here in La Crosse. So we've got a good track record. We've got goals, but we've got limited practice. Going to show you a bunch of the footage here as we walk through how this tournament unfolded. Some of the audio wasn't great. I got a ton of footage. Rather than show you a zillion fish catches, we're going to kind of show you the highlights and walk you through this tournament. It seemed like a pretty good format for the last tournament video. We're going to roll with a kind of a hybrid style here again. I come in late Tuesday night before the tournament, coming from Vermilion. I got in at like 11 o'clock at night after fishing a tournament all day there. This was like, so I fished Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, practices, Tuesday tournament, and now Wednesday is going to be the next day of this potential 3-day tournament here. And I get in 11. I got a few rods rigged, maybe kind of rigged. Tackle's kind of still in the channel from the tournament day before. Roll in 11:30 at night. Have a cold one with the boys at the house visit and get to bed. And I'm out like a light because I'm exhausted. Get up, put some gas in the boat, plug the boat, the Powerhouse Lithium. We had plenty of juice. We're ready to roll. We get out, and I met my day one partner, Jake, guy from Rochester, super good dude. And I'm like rigging things up, before the national anthem, before we roll out in the morning, trying to get my rods ready, throwing some things out there. I just know I'm going up to 5A, and I got some things that I kind of want to hit. So we're ripping, make it to the lock, we make it to the first lock, don't have to wait too long. Get up to my area, blow through a shallow, windy area, pretty good little boat ride through there, and get up to a spot that I thought had the potential to be a lights out spot. And it turned out to be absolutely loaded with largies. And I caught a ton of fish here, but I think I only caught 3 keepers and maybe 1 good one.
Actually, I think I saw one like trying to take it from him. Number 1.
But it was, you know, in practice between Michael and I, we saw some stuff there that made me think that could go down there on this kind of outside current bend with some hard bottom and shell on a lake where the water was kind of dropping and coming out of them. There was a lot of bait there. There was a lot of fish, just really didn't have the quality we needed.
It's just angry.
From that point on, started working my way back out of this backwater in 5A, hitting some high percentage areas. I think I picked up my 4th one on another outside bend.
I think that's number 4.
And then kind of got out to a more major shoot, started hitting some stuff there. And then I finally came on a nice little mat area and was able to fill out my limit, upgrade. But unfortunately, I dumped a really good one. I don't think I did anything wrong here. You let me know in the comments, but like I got that fish. I hammered it home. I was patient, got him up. He was coming out of the slop and he made a head shake. And I'm guessing I just caught a little bit of that fish, the skin hook on the mouth, and just popped off. But that's the way frog fishing goes. So we got a decent little limit going and decided to go run some smallie stuff because in pre-practice, I had caught some like nice 3-4 pound smallies on the main river. So running stuff. And I think by this time my co-angler's got, you know, 1 fish, I think. We get out, he gets a couple more fish. We're running around, fishing some riprap and some points and some wing dams and some day markers and just kind of main river current stuff here and there. Getting bites, some shorts. In this one little spot, I catch an upgrade and I think my co-angler gets a fish and loses one or gets 2 fish there. Nice little spot. We have a long day 1. I'm kind of later in the field, so kind of pushed the lock situation a decent amount. Locking down and made 1 more stop down at the bottom. I catch a couple more keepers, get 1 more upgrade. I think we had, you know, on my scale,
I just gotta glance up every
you know, somewhere between 12 and 13 pounds. Lock back down, pretty efficient with the lock, line it up pretty good, and get down. I think I got like an hour and a half to fish in the top of pool 6, which I hadn't been on in 2 years. Didn't really get a chance to practice that. Kind of fished some main river stuff, tried some stuff, caught a bunch of shorts, nothing that would help, and you know, finished with my limit and the co-anglers. I think he ended up with 2 fish out of his 3 fish limit, which had him sitting okay. We weigh our fish. I had almost 13 pounds, which doesn't sound real great, but for this tournament, the river was fishing a little grimy, and it had me, I think, somewhere around like 17th in the top 25. You know, 1 really good bite out of being in the mix. I think 17 pounds was leading, but the weights were pretty tight. So, you know, based on how I started last year, I think I started in the mid 30s after day 1. And then climbed to 19th on day 2 and then up to 6th on day 3. So I was like, hey, for 1 day of practice, we survived. We made some good adjustments. We got some largies, some smallmouth. We got some things to build off. We can build into this top 5, top 10 situation and make a run at this. Finally get off the water, have a good night's sleep, have a good dinner, get my rods and my tackle fixed, feeling good about day 2. You know, put some more gas in the boat in the morning. You know, get some breakfast in me. We're ready to go. Day 2, we drew Josh Peters from Prior Lake Hooksetters, who I've fished with before. Know him, you know, a friendly club here in the Metro. He had a so-so day on day 1. He was looking to move up. We kind of run back up that backwaters, and I stopped a little bit short this time and fished my way up to that spot because there was a couple other corners that looked pretty good and where I caught my 4th keeper. And I caught, I think, 2 or 3 there, and Josh caught 2 or 3 there. And he actually caught him on the inside, not on the outside corner where I had been catching him, and kind of identified a pot of fish, and we each caught some fish out of there, which was kind of cool. Got some early frog action on day 2 to get things going. Day 2 actually started a little better. Got some keepers faster. And then I went up to the next corner, caught another keeper. Josh missed a giant that came up out of a tree in a corner. Never could get any hooks, so never could get it to bite again. Ran up to that stretch. I caught quite a few shorts again. I think Josh got a cull, or he got his third fish up there, had a pretty good limit of 3 fish after we got there. I don't know if I ever caught one there. I don't think I did. Caught a bunch of shorts again. Spent less time there. Then I tried to run up further and kind of look around. And that just seemed like that was a bad decision after running up to shoot a little further, farther than I had been in practice. So we turned around, booked it down, started working that frog stuff on the way out. And I caught a couple fish, but they wouldn't help, and caught some pike and got bit off. So we got out to the main river, and I got, I don't know, either fish number 4 and fish number 5 pretty quick out on the main river. Got a cull. I think I had all largemouth, but like a smaller limit, 10, 11 pounds. Tried to run some river stuff, but there was a barge coming down that we needed to keep a track of. So I ran up past it and saw it coming down, and Josh was helping me watching the app. And so I ran up past it because I knew we could fish some stuff and come back. And then we ran past it on the way down, stopped on 1 spot, 2 spot, just didn't really get them. And we locked in front of it to make sure that we weren't going to get stuck, because it would have been really, really tight. And I don't think we would have made it in if we didn't beat that barge. I think there was some people that made it in later after the final flight, but being in second flight or whatever I was, we wouldn't have made it. So we came down with a little bit more time, I think close to 2 hours to fish. I skipped over the stuff at the bottom of the pool, and I ran down to the bottom into an area that I had fished kind of in October a couple years ago. It's kind of a high percentage area. There's some sand drops, there's some holes. I knew from past experience there was some grass. There was options down there to kind of explore. So I kind of really fished through it pretty fast, kind of trying some stuff. Ended up getting a couple frog fish on a flappy frog. Not all of them on film here because we were running out of batteries and SD cards were filling up, so the filming wasn't real great there at the end of the day, and we run out of time and my live wells got clogged. So luckily one of these fish got me to open my live well, and even though it was almost barely a cull, it allowed me to catch the fish were in bad. And I got the thing cleaned out and got water pumping in there, and I got ice blocks in there. We were able to save all the fish. It was just my side that got clogged. The recirculator just got filled up with duckweed. So close call there. We almost lost all 5 fish, which would have been bad. So we ended up a couple small culls late in the day on the flappy frog, a couple of just ferocious strikes that were awesome. Run back in, get in with just under a minute, and 11 pounds and change. And I thought I was going home. I was pretty sure I was done. So I loaded up the boat and got back to the house and was kind of half packing stuff up, but I slid in. I think I only dropped 2 spots. I went from 17th to 19th. So I was still in the top 25. We're going on day 3. I think I'm in 19th. I'm in literally, I think, in the exact same position I was 2 years ago. Kind of reinvigorated. This is day 8 or 9 in a row fishing. 3rd day of the tournament. And we go out, draw Brian Casey, who I've known for a long time. Both in 19th position, looking to move up, get into that top 5. The win really seemed like a big stretch, but top 5, was possible at this point. I figured if I could get 16, 17, 18 pounds, I could threaten the top 5. So we went up, and I changed things up. Instead of going up in that frog stuff, I really started more on smallies and trying to get through that main current stuff faster. And I caught a small limit pretty quick that day. Brian caught one fish pretty early. Throwing tubes, chatterbaits. I think I caught one largie on a frog. We were just kind of fishing around, hitting stuff, just kind of remixing it up, fishing some new stuff and some stuff that I had fished in practice. And I wanted to get up to that current stuff at the top of the pool, hoping that maybe I could get on some of those bigger smallies earlier. And honestly, I caught a limit quicker, but Brian caught some really nice fish on a Senko on a wacky rig. And he didn't catch that many, but it seemed like every time he caught one, it was like a 2.5 to 3.5 pound fish. And I ended up making an adjustment and throwing a wacky rig and a Neko, but every time I would set the hook, it would be like a 15-incher. And so we ran some of that current at the top, and I was around the right size fish, and Brian got a real big one on a square bill on a spot where the only way I could hold the current was to kind of give him first crack at it, but I knew I'd caught a giant there on a minnow in pre-practice, so I did a good job of putting myself in positions where to be on some bigger bites. Brian ended up with around 9 pounds for his 3 fish. So a better class of fish than I weighed in the first 2 days, right? I could have definitely, if I could have fished cleaner, more efficient, made the right casts, I could have been on a 15, 16, maybe 17 pound bag up there, but it just didn't come. Was those days it didn't pan out, didn't come together. I caught a lot of fish, tried some new things. I feel like I did the kind of things to put myself in position, but we ended up locking back down, and I think I had 10, 11 pounds or whatever it was on the third day when we locked down. We pushed it up there because the size of the fish were up there, and we locked down at 2 o'clock, and so with literally like 45 minutes to fish, we come down and we pull into this slop area that Brian wanted to fish in 6 kind of, and he got, I had a fish swirl at my frog 3 times.
8 minutes if we don't get a bite. If we get a bite, we might push it a couple more.
And couldn't get it to commit and stopped biting, and I flipped in there and I kind of moved down because it was kind of like I couldn't just sit there and milk it. We needed to keep moving. And then like as soon as my boat pulled forward 10 feet, it bit his frog. And it was like another 3-pounder, which would have helped me. It would have moved me up. It would have made the tournament look better. It wasn't the difference between, a top 5 and not. I think I fell to like 20 something in this tournament. I had another short strike on a frog there. But I wish I would have thrown the flappy frog there. That's probably my biggest regret. I feel like they were really smoking that flappy frog, and it was kind of a loose duckweed. I wish I would have thrown that flappy frog because that seemed a way to get bites in these fish that were pressured on the frog. You either need to slow way down with your frog and creep it, or that flappy frog. Both of those seem to get bites. Or if you really knew they were there, you could potentially punch them up as well. So we get back in with just a couple moments to spare. Brian moves way up. He gets into the top 10. Don't think he makes the natty. I think he ends up 1 spot out of the national championship. So maybe if somebody doesn't go, he can get in. Automatic qualifier for the regional next year for Brian.
Yeah, Rich Lindgren from Twin City Bass. Rich has 5 today. 24.32 for the last 2 days. Rich, you're going to add 10.35 to that. It's been a pretty powerful week for you this week, huh?
Yeah, kind of burned the candle on both ends, and probably didn't put enough time into this one, but the other tournament went well. And but yeah, a little worse every day, but I put my culling lure in a big bag coming up.
Always, you're good at doing that, Rich.
Usually I'm not good at putting my culling lure in a big bag. Usually I get a big bag.
You get the big bag, but you always get your co-angler fish.
Yeah, usually they get their limit. So.
Yep. All right. Well,
I fall down a few spots. A couple of my club mates, Aaron, Hunter, and Sawyer, all made the national championship next year. So awesome job to those guys executing. So all in all, it was a really cool tournament. I love fishing the river. I feel like another day of practice would have went a long ways. If I had a full practice, I really think I could have been in the mix in this one, but that's just not the way it happened. I'm not making excuses. I feel like I did okay with the practice I had and what I had going. So in hindsight, I don't have a lot of regrets because the payoff was there for the Classic Bass Champions Tour. I made the championship there. I got a nice $2,000 payday. We'll just have to roll on to hopefully fish one or a couple, 2 of the qualifiers for Bass Nation to get in the national championship that next year. We do have the Natty coming up, so subscribe if you want to see that tournament coming up here pretty soon. And if you want to see the epic comeback on Vermilion from last year's state tournament, make sure you watch this video on the screen right here next.